These trucks really draft, and you can see Kyle Busch pulled to the outside with Moffitt, and they were both able to get around Enfinger. But I just think Moffitt's truck's better than Enfinger's right now. I know he made the pass, obviously, but he was just all over the back of him. So that move showed me that the 24 car, like you said, Phil, truck, is as bad as it's ever been.
Now Kyle Busch looking inside of Moffitt for the lead and getting it.
He used that draft coming off.
He gets loose.
Got loose, had to wrap it up, save it. Caution is out on the front stretch, and down into turn one is the 4 of Todd Gilliland.
What an idiot.
Wow.
Somebody in that team's opinion
get the grill clean.
Must have dumped him.
Get the grill clean.
Look at the back of that truck.
I think they can overcome that damage, Phil. Sounded like the spotter, someone felt like there was contact. He was racing in the 11th position.
Looks like maybe somebody ran into the back of him, and that got him a little bit up into the outside wall.
You remember he nearly won this race when we were here in November, and now not even 5 laps in, he's having trouble.
Within a half a lap of winning this race last year when he ran out of fuel.
There's the 30 of Brennan Poole. A little bit of something on the front. Doesn't belong.
Poole's running in 11th, and that's where they were fighting, so that's probably the...
If we can see it off
in
the distance.
Squeezed him into the wall there, it looked like.
But it was the white truck. Is that Ross Chastain?
It is Chastain in the 45. And fortunate for Gilliland, there wasn't more damage than was actually done there. Yeah, I'm not sure that Chastain squeezed him at all, did he?
Didn't look like it. That was an aluminum crush panel that came out from under that truck. That's what we saw in the front of the 30 of Brennan Poole. There it is right there.
Let's take one more look at this and see if maybe Gilliland just got loose here as compared to being squeezed.
Well, Ross squeezed him all the way up to the wall, and it's probably some loose stuff up there. They typically don't go that wide at that point in the racetrack.
After second look at that contact, that's pretty significant. Phil, I'd be surprised if not some suspension damage to that Ford truck of Gilliland. There's Chastain just racing hard early in the going. Looked like maybe Ross crowded him up a little bit. Look at him in there fighting that wheel.
Johnny's still there. Clear, clear, clear. Super free, the 13.
That was a great job by Ross Chastain to avoid Johnny Sauter. Johnny had to have some more racetrack.
What about Brett Moffitt? He stepped it out a bit on Kyle Busch, and they've both driven away from third place running Sheldon Creed in that 2 truck.
Jordan Anderson and Johnny Sauter. And here comes Stuart Friesen. Remember, Friesen had to start at the tail. He's up to 15th.
What a great,
we got a spinner.
It's Harrison Burton. Trouble for both the young KBM drivers. First Gilliland and now Burton, and that is heavy damage.
A lot more damage to that truck than his teammate Todd Gilliland's.
I'd say that could about end it for young Burton.
From 7th place at the time, and I think it was right over in that same area that we had been talking about, guys.
It certainly was.
I'd have to see a replay, really. Like 45 got in there. I don't know if he got all the way to the bumper or not. But he rolled in, then I just seen you spinning.
Let's take a look here. There's the 45 of Chastain right behind Burton, but no contact.
No, that's just racing, and like we talked about in the opening of this show tonight, how difficult turns 1 and 2 is. We see it there again. Now certainly
17 outside bumper behind. Clear, clear.
Certainly
Stay low, stay low.
Chastain's truck being that close to Burton made him looser, and it probably was just enough to put that truck out of control.
Ross had been working the outside of the racetrack. I saw him get by the 88 of Matt Crafton on the outside.
But no blame assessed to Chastain there, is there?
Not at all.
Totally not.
But it is interesting that Chastain has been the closest in proximity to both the KBM trucks having some problems.
Well, we might could hang
here early.
We might could hang the first one on Ross, but that certainly was just a racing incident for Harrison Burton. He didn't handle the close proximity of Chastain behind him, and it made him loose.
Well, it's unfortunate for both Burton and Gilliland because both those guys were trying to come back from races that they didn't get a result they were pleased with a week ago. Burton was 11th at Martinsville and Gilliland was 15th. So under caution for the second time here at Texas. Well, after a couple of cautions, we're just about halfway through this first stage. Always fun on the restart. You've got Brett Moffitt on the inside, Kyle Busch on the outside, and we're back green.
Boy, Sheldon Creed was on it. Brett Moffitt's teammate shoving Brett Moffitt into turn one.
Creed doesn't race like a rookie, does he?
Sure doesn't. He's very aggressive.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, Phil. He likes to roll. You can see Grant Enfinger down on the bottom, taking through Creed 3 wide.
Moffitt still trying to hold off Kyle Busch at the front. That's Ben Rhodes right there lurking in third.
He's going to give a nice shove to the back of Moffitt. Nice wings high with Busch.
Still side by side, Moffitt and Busch for the lead.
How about a Chevrolet and a Toyota battling for the lead, and a Ford right behind him in third.
Moffitt gets it. Kyle looked at the crossover, and we've got more trouble, and that's Angela Ruck that's into the wall.
Gus Dean as well hits that inside wall. Tyler Young's truck.
That was actually in front of Angela's truck that was into the outside wall.
Back there in about the 16th and 17th spots at the time. Angela Ruck, the first of her 12 races with Nice Motorsports. There's Gus Dean's damage.
Here, guys, all right side, right rear.
Angela made
Do what you can to get it back here, Gus.
one of the nicest saves you can make during the qualifying session over in turns 3 and 4. Not quite so fortunate this time.
Looked like she was racing inside of Gus Dean's truck, got into Dean. Running well, made some progress early in the race, but just too much speed for conditions down in turns 1 and 2.
Gus tried valiantly to save that truck. Looked like he had it saved a couple times and just got up behind in the steering a little bit.
Yeah, that was Dean, the one in front there, and Angela Ruck further back. But heavy contact for both. Yeah, let's start it from the beginning here. We'll freeze it, and then there's Angela Ruck here in the orange and white.
She had already gotten into Dean and lost control. And like you said, Phil, watch Gus fight this thing. And Cody Robaugh in that 9 truck just barely slipping by on the inside.
So Angela Ruck out of her truck and walking to the ambulance.
On your side, outside, coming back to you. Here comes your help with a 16. Don't let me inside on the bumper, pushing you.
There was a strong exit off that corner for Alfredo in the 54.
Tyler Dipple slips high there in turns 2.
Jordan Anderson, who got a stage point, the second time in his career that he received stage points. Good job by Jordan Anderson.
Yeah, that team just keeps getting better and better, Phil. They're bringing nice looking trucks to the track, and Jordan's up in there mixing it up.
Got a third of the way here through stage 2. Kyle Busch is out front, but Matt Crafton is right there in the shadows.
And look behind him, there's Ross Chastain.
Oh, it's Alfredo.
Alfredo hard in the outside wall.
So Anthony Alfredo, who had been side by side and had such a good, strong run going, quickly exiting his Toyota. That's the DGR Crosley camp in that 54 truck.
Good job, Kevin. What started that whole thing was he side drafted to 16 getting into the corner.
We saw Alfredo side draft a few laps back really tight on the side of another truck, and that truck got loose. That's really a risky game to play, Phil. You need to give the truck on the inside of you half a truck length width at least in order to be able to make sure he makes it through the corner, because if he gets loose, he's going to take you out too.
We saw teammates Grant Enfinger and Ben Rhodes racing for the end of that first stage, giving each other enough room so they could maneuver.
With Todd Gilliland maybe getting squeezed a little bit by Ross Chastain early. Harrison Burton lost control, got loose, hit the wall. He's done for the night. We saw Angela Ruck, Gus Dean have issues. And here's Alfredo in that 54.
just gets sucked around. But I think Alfredo was loose on the way in maybe, and it gave Friesen a run around the outside. And when Friesen made the move to the high side, it just pulled the 54 on around.
Yeah, just robbed that truck of air, pushing that rear spoiler down, pushing the back of that truck down.
Alfredo quickly out of the truck and the exit. We saw the fire. What causes the fire that we see there?
We saw a fire during practice yesterday, and it was because of oil, a broken oil line that the headers ignited or something like that. Could be broken oil line or a broken fuel line. You can see something trailing behind that truck as it slid down the banking.
Not sure if they, maybe a tick of contact, but I don't know.
It doesn't even take the contact. Just the air is enough to do it, Vince.
I think Alfredo was in trouble, but when he entered the corner, the truck was just a little bit loose with Friesen up on the outside, and it just spun him the rest of the way around.
You know, Stewart made a huge arc into the corner because when they initially entered the corner, there was a gap in between those trucks. But Stewart had such a good arc and such a good run into the middle that when he got there, that's what robbed the air off the spoiler of that truck.
Well, also you can see right there, Alfredo was coming up.
Yeah.
Stewart left room. He just couldn't hold control of his truck.
Yeah, he was getting loose.
Six cautions already tonight. The record is 10. We're about halfway through stage 2. Anthony Alfredo, the latest victim. The Gander Outdoors Truck Series from Texas Motor Speedway. You saw it during the commercial break. The defending champ in that 24 truck, Brett Moffitt, passing the all-time wins leader, Kyle Busch, for the lead. And this is what it looked like. Moffitt with the great move, that air and around the outside. Wow.
See, Kyle kind of slipped up off the bottom a bit there, and Brett had learned that outside lane. Oh, trouble.
Corbin Forrester in the 7. Hard into the wall.
He was running on the lead lap, Vince, in the 17th position. And then right there where we've seen so much trouble tonight.
Same spot.
Yeah, just off turn 2. It got away from him.
The laps after the caution was displayed and after the pit stop.
Saw the call there for 4 tires. That's kind of weird looking.
Yeah.
Maybe racing with the 42 of Garrett Smithley.
Maybe trying to avoid something. Looked like he...
Oh, just probably slipped a little bit on entry. The back end got out, maybe overcorrected, possibly.
What it looked like, yeah.
Jesse Iwuji got around that. Fortunate not to get collected in the Corbin Forrester spin. Under caution for the 8th time tonight.
It's nearly a record, isn't it, Vince?
It is 10, the most we've ever had here at Texas. The majority of them have happened right over there where Corbin Forrester sits, or at least that's where they've come to a stop, because that at the center of the turn between 1 and 2 to the exit of turn 2 has just been eating them up tonight.
That truck looks just about identical to Harrison Burton's truck.
He's been second 4 times in a truck and never won. Could tonight be the night?
Rhodes and Tyler Ankrum, and now Ross Chastain making a move for 7th. Bringing Johnny Sauter with him. Moffitt now taking a position from Crafton. Moffitt into 3rd.
4 tires is looking better, isn't it, Michael?
Yes, I'm loving it.
Caution, turn 2 again. And it's Cody Robaugh.
Looks like another 3 or 4 trucks we've seen tonight.
Same damage, same place. 15th he was running under yellow now. You see Cody Robaugh on the hook under caution for the 9th time, and this is why. You'll see Robaugh in this green and black truck come right out of that circle that Phil so artistically put on the screen.
He was pointed right at us, was the 9 truck of Robaugh when he was down in the middle of the corner, and that's not a good thing. And don't forget about Ross Chastain. He's in 11th in that second pack back there.
Friesen taking a look on the outside, now ducks back underneath.
Kyle opens up the bottom of the racetrack.
And Friesen to the inside now to challenge. Stewart Friesen and Kyle Busch for the lead.
Control your entry, outside, outside.
Side by side. Can Friesen
Outside,
close the door?
24 coming to the bumper here, watch the bottom here.
Moffitt trying to
Right on
help.
you.
Moffitt gets loose and gathers it up, almost collects Rhodes.
There was contact.
A lot of contact. Look at the right rear corner of that 24 Moffitt.
The Gander Outdoors 20 to go, and we've got one up to the wall. Moffitt.
Flying up under you. Still coming, still coming.
Flat right rear after that contact.
Meanwhile, Sauter now challenges for second.
What'd you say, Vince? Where'd he come from?
Sauter continues to march forward as Moffitt tries to salvage it and get it to pit lane. Wow.
That's all I can say. My palms are sweating. These guys are racing so hard. We know Moffitt probably had the best truck. Now it's up to Stewart Friesen to chase down Kyle Busch.
Look at the damage on that 4th place running Ben Rhodes, that left front corner of that truck where he got into the back of Brett Moffitt.
Boy, heartbreak for Brett Moffitt, Jerry Baxter in that group. You heard that interview with Baxter. They felt like they had the truck to beat Kyle Busch tonight. Not going to happen.
Ross Chastain into 6th spot. He can crack the top 5 in another lap or 2. Watch that 45 truck.
Here comes Ankerman getting by Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes' truck is crippled by that damage.
And here's what caused it. Watch the 99 get into the back of the 24 right here.
I think that truck just developed a push right there in that dogleg, Phil. With all that dirty air ahead of him, he simply just couldn't turn to the left, and it caused contact.
Brett did an amazing job holding onto that truck with that right rear tire flat.
Hoping maybe
I think he's just not thirsty anymore.
he's had enough of that. Maybe one of the options.
Yeah, something like that.